Bev has been a Toastmasters for over 24 years, like many others. She wishes she learned of the organization when she was much younger because knowing more about communication and communication styles would have helped her be a better parent. As a young mother, her style of communication was dictatorial rather than supportive. The relationship with her eldest daughter is a prime example of how not to communicate. Luckily, in more recent years, Bev has learned the value of supported communication, which in turn has helped heal wounds inflicted unintentionally many years ago. Please welcome with her level 2 Understanding Your Communication Style speech titled Don't Cry for Me, I'm Okay. Bev LeBlanc, Don't Cry for Me, I'm Okay.
Hello, Toastmasters. Growing up in Lethbridge, a small city at the time, and being the youngest in a family of 12 had many advantages. We felt safe and secure in our community because everybody knew everyone else. There were always lots of people with whom to play and learn and feel protected. There were some drawbacks, though. For instance, because I was the youngest person in our circle for a long time, I became the family and neighborhood babysitter for most of my youth. Oh yay, 25 cents an hour. By the time I was 14, I knew how to be the perfect mother. I grew up, got married, and when I was 21, I had a beautiful baby girl. She was so beautiful, we gave her a name we thought it was unusual at the time, Leanna. Leanna grew into an inquisitive, impetuous, and precocious little girl. Being the perfect mother, I expected all the best for her and from her. To be musical, to be artistic, intelligent, athletic. She was all those things. But young Missy, you march right back into that room and clean it up. Unfortunately, I also expected her to be a miniature adult. She wasn't. I didn't understand then my perception of clean up your room and her 3-year-old perception, but Mommy, my room is clean. We're almost at opposite ends of the spectrum. My expectation monster reared its ugly head all too often. When she didn't live up to my expectations, I yelled, I disciplined. I diminished her sense of self-worth without realizing what I was doing. Instead of being a perfect mother, I was more like a mummy dearest. Some of you may have to look up what that means. I succeeded only in creating wounds so deep. My daughter at 45 didn't speak to me. As I got older, this weighed more and more heavily on my shoulders and on my heart, keeping me stuck in a rut which caused both physical and mental pain. I know we're only here on this earth for a short period of time. One of my greatest fears was not repairing the relationship between my daughter and me before it was too late for either of us. I told my story to my truly wise friend, Shirley, saying, I don't know how to fix Leanna and me. Shirley thought for a moment, said, Bev, have you ever asked her to forgive you? Light bulbs flashing. No, I hadn't. I suppose I thought someone would wave a magic wand, everything would miraculously be resolved, and we would be fine. But I knew it really wasn't going to happen that way. Shirley's words helped me realize I had to ask Leanna to forgive me. Mostly for myself, but a little bit for her, so she could have the opportunity to forgive. I went home and wrote an email letter to her. Part of it said, "Dear Leanna, please know how deeply sorry I am for all the hurt I've caused you over the years. I remember every spanking, every harsh word, and every unreasonable expectation I had of you. None of it was your fault. It was mine. I truly marvel at the wonderful, caring woman you've become and know it is all your own doing. If you ever find it in your heart to forgive me, I'm here." I pressed send before I had a chance to delete it. A couple of weeks went by, I didn't receive a response. I don't even know if she got the letter. I did not have the courage to pick up the phone to find out. In spite of the uncertainty, taking those steps to reach out and ask for forgiveness began a healing process in me. Some of the oppressive weight on my heart and my shoulders began to lift off. A little guilt gone, a little shame gone, a little sadness gone. Something inside me knew, however, that this was only the first step. Another integral part of healing was to forgive myself. It's not as easy as you might think. Our memories don't die. They're always in our minds, they're in our hearts. When I was a child, we used to have a saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me." We believed it at the time. I don't anymore. Physical wounds heal and the pain goes away, but emotional scars seem to linger on and on and on. How do we forgive ourselves? I had to find a way to ease this pain that was eating me up from the inside. I started by cutting off bad memories when they arose, replacing them with good ones. The birth of my other children helped me grow a brain, and I learned to be a better mother. Not perfect, but better. When I remember the good times in our lives, I know healing in me is happening. Yes, we did have many good times. Being in Disneyland and finding Leanna climbing anything that was bigger than 2 feet. Getting splashed by the whales at the Vancouver Aquarium. Listening to Leanna deliver an almost perfect rendition of the Pink Panther theme at the Kiwanis Piano Festival. Perhaps you know someone like me, wrapped tightly in this bundle of self-recrimination and self-pity and sadness. Encourage them to ask someone's forgiveness. If they don't, it's an automatic no. Perhaps they need to forgive themselves. Encourage them to do so. Living in anguish is no way to live. Beg them to take these 2 simple but difficult steps and forgiveness and forgiving themselves. They'll start to break the cords that bind them so tightly and keep them imprisoned. When they do, they will experience the gifts of healing and freedom. You may be wondering, well, what happened with Leanna? Do any of you remember Paul Harvey? Wave if you do. Only a few of us might know. That's another thing you might have to look up. But he was a radio personality who always ended his segments with the rest of the story. I too have a rest of the story. It was Mother's Day a few months after I sent my letter to Leanna. I received a phone call from a local business saying they had a delivery for me. I automatically assumed it was my son, Jeff, my youngest child. I opened a small card attached, and tears streamed down my face. as I realized I had received a gift within a gift. The card read, "Happy Mother's Day, Leanna." Madam Toastmaster.